Josh Hasten here, Israel Uncensored on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. It is Monday, July the 12th, 2021, the 3rd of Av, 5781, coming to you from Jerusalem, the eternal capital of the Jewish people and the state of Israel. Hope you are well, hope you are safe in your part of the world. We have a very special guest we're going to get to right away. Rabbi Ari Katz, he's the director of PR for the Max and Ruth Schwartz Yeshivat Hesder in Sderot. He joins us now via Zoom. Rabbi Katz, welcome to the show.
Good morning, Josh. Thank you for having me.
Are you actually down in Sderot right now, or are you somewhere else?
I'm really at my home right now because today we are starting a campaign. So I'm about to go to where we're going to be working out of.
Okay, we're going to get to the campaign in just a few minutes. But first of all, for those who may not know, if you can just explain what exactly is a Yeshivat Hesder, and tell us why the Hesder in Sderot is so special.
So Yeshivat Hesder is a yeshiva where the young men post high school, it's a 5-year program where they combine their studies with army service. They basically come to yeshiva after they graduate from 12th grade. They learn a year and a half, and they go into the army for at least a year and a half. Some of them continue to be officers, and they have to come back to the yeshiva afterwards for 2 years. And there are today in Israel, I would say, between 70 and 80 Yeshivot Hesder. I mean, it's an unbelievable, really operation that throughout the whole country, from the north, Kiryat Shmona, to the south in Eilat. Sderot happens to be today the largest Hesder yeshiva in the country. It's unbelievable that of all places, Sderot has those bragging rights. And you asked, why is it so important? Well, there's something else very unique, I think, about the Hesder Yeshiva in Sderot, and that is the fact that the yeshiva, you could really call it a community yeshiva, because the yeshiva is very, very involved with everything that goes on in the community. If it's learning with high school boys, with senior citizens, if it's volunteering during peaceful times, and especially during the war. I mean, just 2 months ago, during the Guardian of the Walls operation. So the guys in the yeshiva, a lot of volunteers going from house to house, making sure everyone's okay. And that's just one example of many, how they are so involved in the city.
And the Hesder in Sderot, by the way, if you're not aware, Sderot is about a kilometer and a half from Gaza. You are right there in the Western Negev, right along the border, correct?
That's right. I mean, it's too close for comfort, like we say. It's like you said, less than a kilometer. There's some places in Sderot that you could actually see Hamas outposts, like with the naked eye. You don't even need binoculars to see it. And that's what makes it such a strategic place, definitely.
And what year was the Hesder founded? Number one, and number two, from what I recall, ever since the Hesder was founded, the yeshiva, of course, along with the town of Sderot, has actually been under fire since the rockets started. People might not be aware, the rockets actually started 20 years ago from this past April, back in 2001.
Right, so the yeshiva started 26 years ago, 1995. Rabbi Fendel, the Rosh Yeshiva, came with a handful of guys. Like every good story starts with a handful of guys. Today, hundreds of students there. And we know it's interesting. They came, like you mentioned, Josh. The rocket started 6 years later, in 2001. But when we know there's divine direction, so the fact that they happened to be there when the rocket started is an unbelievable thing. They came there to Sderot. Really, it's a border town. They came there really, you could say, to strengthen the Judaism there. Torah and chesed, kindness, do a lot of good things there. They didn't even know. They had no idea that there were going to be rockets six years later. But it's a good thing they were there, because they are such an important part of the stability and, I would say, the resilience of the city.
So, Rabbi Katz, I remember when I was down in Sderot many years ago, originally, the Hesder, the guys were learning out of caravans. They were living in caravans. And about a decade ago, the Hesder took on a major project in order to rocket-proof both the Beit Midrash, the study house, along with the dormitories. So most of the campus, if I recall, is protected, yet there are aspects of the campus, the kitchen in particular, and other areas which are not yet protected. And I know that is one of the goals. You mentioned a campaign going on right now, is to protect the entire campus. Why don't you go ahead and detail the campaign and let us know about those important projects?
Sure. So, like you said, really, when the yeshiva started, there were caravans. But then, as things got bad, the security situation really worsened. So then, Rabbi Fendel saw that he has responsibility for the students, and they really have to build now rocket-proof buildings. So basically, they went ahead and started building, as you mentioned, the dormitories, all rocket-proof, the Beit Midrash, the study hall, rocket-proof, and the dining hall, rocket-proof. Thank God, over the years, the student body has expanded, has grown, increased unbelievably, too quickly in a way, that there is not enough space right now in the study hall or in the dining hall, the dining room. So our campaign right now is focusing first and foremost on those two expansions, to expand the study hall and to expand the dining hall, which are not easy. Once you have to protect, rocket-proof them, from a engineering standpoint, it's not easy at all. It's not just a regular building. Just give you an anecdote, right? As of the last war, 2 months ago, so some of the young men, the married ones, they learn there's an old water tower that became the library of the yeshiva, and married couples learn there. During the war, they can't learn there. It's too dangerous, so they have to move into the study hall, and then it's too crowded. So that's the first part I would call the campaign. The second part is just an unbelievable thing. I mean, shows the determination and shows how dedicated the staff is. We have a kitchen staff that works in a kitchen, which is probably the oldest building on campus, and it's not rocket-proof. But these people, the kitchen staff, the cook, and everyone else around them, they came during the war and were working. I mean, literally risking their lives, you could say. So the guys will have food. So the boys will have food. And that's the second part of the campaign, is to really build a brand new kitchen, a rocket-proof kitchen, and that they'll be safe. They could come and feel safe. And so that's really the two parts of the campaign: the expansion of the two larger buildings, the dining room and the study hall, as well as building a new kitchen.
I know as a result of the coronavirus, you were unable to hold the annual dinner last year. So in lieu of the dinner, you had a campaign last year online, and now you have one again this year. How can people get involved? What is the best way for people to contribute to this campaign? Very, very important. We're talking about saving lives here, protecting the dedicated workers who literally are feeding these kids, these young student soldiers, day in and day out, putting their lives at risk because they are not protected. We want to protect them as well. I know the yeshiva does. So how can people get involved?
So that's true. So the easiest way, really the easiest way, is to go to our website, which is www.sderot.org. And basically, there's a very simple way of donating there. It's just donate and just pressing a few buttons. That's the easiest way, basically, to do it. We also have our Facebook page, Friends of Sderot, that all the details will be there as well. So they go on Facebook, and there'll be a link to the campaign there as well. And like you said, it's I think really the most important thing for a person to understand exactly what we're talking about, because Josh, you've been there and I worked there. You were, it's just, you have to come and see it for yourselves. And that's why, how can you be involved? So I would like to invite everyone down to Sderot to see this unbelievable, really, project. Call it a project. Call it. It's really something that when you come down there, you will be really blown away in a positive sense, and you'll see exactly what we're talking about. So everyone's invited to come down. You can get in touch with me also through our Facebook page. I'll be happy to take you around.
So go to sderot.org, get involved in the campaign, get in touch with Rabbi Ari Katz through Facebook. Of course, if anyone has any problems, you can always get in touch with Rabbi Katz through me. I'm happy to pass the messages along. Rabbi Katz, thank you so much for joining us here today on Israel Uncensored, on the Land of Israel Network, at thelandofisrael.com, and good luck on the campaign.
Thank you very much, Josh. Thank you very much.
We are going to have a great day. We're going to take a short break, come back with the rest of the show, all the latest news from Israel. You are listening to Israel Uncensored on the Land of Israel Network at thelandofisrael.com. And my name is Josh Hasten. Get in touch with me during the week, Josh at thelandofisrael.com, on Facebook, Josh Hasten, or Josh Hasten Israel Advocacy and Journalism, on Twitter at Josh Hasten, and now on Instagram as well. Short break. We'll be back with all the latest news from Israel. Don't go anywhere.